This is episode 4 in my 2025 Summer Headspace series. This is a chance to revisit episodes from the previous school year during the summer months when you may have a little extra time. Beginning on August 26th, you will see new episodes with exciting new topics every Monday. For today, we look back at 3 of my Leveling Up coaching episodes. There's episode 165 about supporting target language use, episode 169 about student choice, and episode 174 about cohesive lessons and flow in the language classroom. So let's jump in. Are you a language teacher looking for some reassurance that what you're doing in the classroom is on the right track? Or maybe you're looking for some ways to teach even more effectively. If you're one or the other or somewhere in between, you've landed in the right place. This is the World Language Classroom Podcast with your host, me, Joshua Cabral. You're about to get tips, tools, and resources so that your students continue to rise in proficiency and communicate with confidence. Let's jump in. Vamos, allons-y. Hello, my friends. Bonjour, mes amis. Hola, mis amigos. Welcome to the World Language Classroom Podcast. I am Joshua Cabral. Thank you so much for joining me, particularly over the summer while you're in your summer headspace. This is really showing that you are a dedicated language teacher for hanging out with me over the summer. So thank you so much for being here. So on this summer headspace episode, we are looking back at 3 of my Leveling Up coaching episodes. And these are episodes where I talk to teachers who either have a challenge area or an area that they want to improve on or expand on and do even better in their classroom. So it's a really great opportunity to hear the reality of what's happening in the classroom, and it very likely could be happening in your classroom as well. So these have been very popular episodes for teachers to listen to. So the first episode is episode 165, and this is about supporting target language use in the classroom. And in this conversation, I speak with Helen, who is a German teacher in Wisconsin. And using the target language more regularly and authentically is the area where she wants to level up her teaching practice. So we talk about some of the different issues contributing to it in her classroom, but then I give her some suggestions. So you will hear in here the suggestions of developing consistent classroom routines that naturally incorporate the target language, such as greetings and farewells, instructions, and integrating common phrases and questions throughout the class. And then the suggestion of providing scaffolding tools like visuals, sentence starters, chat mats, language match, and anchor charts that students can refer to when they need assistance in the classroom. And then we talk about designing interactive activities that require students to use the target language, and then consistently modeling the use of the target language in her own speech and interactions with students, and acknowledging and praising students when they make an effort to speak in the target language. So those are the suggestions that come up, but you can hear much more in detail about what this would look like. And the great thing is that Helen asks questions about how to actually make those things happen in her classroom, so that could be perhaps very useful for you as well. Then episode 169 is about student choice in the language classroom. And this is with Jen, who is a Spanish teacher in Missouri. And providing students with regular and authentic choices in her classroom is the area where she wants to level up her teaching practice. So after discussions of not having choice, having too much choice, or not really understanding the best way to provide choice in the classroom, I offer some suggestions. And as you listen to the episode, as I give the suggestions, she asks questions about how to make that happen. So you'll hear the suggestions here, but you'll really get the nuts and bolts of making it happen by listening to the episode. So the first suggestion is about creating choice boards. And then a suggestion about allowing students to choose from a list of project topics or propose their own rather than always giving them the topics. That promotes autonomy. And then for certain activities, allowing students to pick their groups based on interest or comfort rather than always picking the groups for them. Then offering multiple assessment options that cater to different learning styles and strengths. And then finally, ways to make the input and output compelling for students. And then there's episode 174, which is about cohesive lessons and flow in class routines. And this is with Cindy, who is a German teacher in Idaho. So planning more cohesive lessons that flow more naturally and are connected to each other is the area where she wants to level up her teaching practice. So after you hear what goes into it and why this has been a challenge for her, we get into some suggestions. And in the episode, you can get lots of details about how to implement these suggestions and hear Cindy's questions about how to best make it happen. But the suggestions for this class flow are to use a consistent daily lesson framework across all levels. And then to focus on key learning targets and prioritize, because by narrowing down your focus, you avoid overloading yourself and the students. And then I suggest that she chunk her time for efficient planning, and then to leverage spiral review, because lessons will feel more connected and purposeful if you create a natural review opportunity for students. So you have all three of those leveling up episodes together with all of these suggestions. So in the show notes, you will see the links to episodes 165, 169, and 174, so you can listen to them right there. There's also a link to sign up for Talking Points, my weekly email newsletter with tips and resources for language teaching. There's also a link to get in touch with me if you would like to work together. And remember, we can do that either in person in your school or remotely. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the World Language Classroom podcast. Be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening so that you never miss an episode. Let's keep the conversation going on social media. Connect with me on X, aka Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at WL Classroom. And for even more valuable resources, visit my website, WLClassroom.com, where you'll find over 300 blog posts about language teaching. So stay inspired, keep growing, and continue making a difference in your language classroom.